Alright, so I picked up one of these Marcy Club Stack home gyms, the 100-pound one. It was like $249 or something around there. Yeah, there's all that stuff. 203 pounds. This thing was annoying to move. But yeah, otherwise it comes with, 100-pound weights. It's got all the different accessories and stuff. Gives you a basic rundown of pulleys and all that, whatever. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like once it's done. I've got it mostly starting to get sorted. I have my old weight rack sitting here that's going to get moved. So this is going to go over an empty spot. They do something that's extremely nice with all their bolts and stuff. They actually have it all just organized in cardboard instead of just in baggies, and you're expected to figure out what's what. They've got everything labeled so you can find it. The instructions, on the other hand, if it will stay still enough. Not extremely helpful. I mean, it's got all the stuff listed, so that's cool, but so far this is kind of basic. It doesn't tell you tightening anything down, if you're supposed to wait till the end, any of that kind of stuff, which a lot of instructions usually do. But yeah, there's a full breakdown of how it's gonna go together. Final one. It's a fairly thick instruction book. But other than that, I'm going to, I guess, start putting this together, and then just every once in a while pull up the camera and give some updates. Alright, after moving some more stuff, just to get the box a little unpacked, I started trying to put it together, and so obviously, it says piece 18 and 19, you just need to connect those, which over here, you got your bars and stuff. Nothing in any of this is labeled. There's no stickers, there's no nothing, so you kind of just visually have to go off of what you're looking for, which I guess isn't a huge deal, because a lot of this is unique shaped, and some of it's obvious, like there's one of the bars for pulling. You've got several boxes of pulleys, those are self-explanatory, or bags of pulleys, your cushions, but just random straight bars that you have to just go off visually is a little annoying. They could have, at least on the plastic wrap, added a sticker saying what they were or whatnot. But back to it, I suppose. I should probably stop putting the camera down so I can actually capture this stuff just quicker. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, not really. You could see a little divot. None of this stuff is welded around through the cap on either side, because usually these are just welded around on the inside, but these ones are actually all plug welded from the side. I don't know how much better that's going to be for strength purposes. This one you can't really tell, but this one, yeah, you can see where they really got it hot and melted that bolt, so hopefully these threads are still fine, or not rather. But something else is a lot of this stuff you can kind of see in the threads is starting to rust already just from sitting in its package. So this stuff isn't coated with anything, there's no oils or anything on it, so hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. It's definitely not going to show up on camera, but you can see around the nut and the bar there's rust forming in this end too on both of them. We'll have to see how the rest. So far, all the pieces that have that, these ones are interior cut pipe thread, so that one's not anything to worry about. But over here, yeah, you can see this one's much better. They are holes drilled and they're plug welded, so no welds on the inside. They're all just around the outside. Alright, it is just a little bit later. It's the easiest way to install it because all the bolts are on the bottom for these ones. It is finished up to step 5. I figured out, they don't say specifically when to tighten stuff, but that little symbol means, use tools to tighten. So it wanted you to just tighten step 2, and from step 2 all the way up to that's too far. Still not even step 9, we're still not tightening. There we go. Step 10, so from 3 to 10 it doesn't want you to tighten, but once you finally get to 10, tighten everything down, which is crazy because all the weights and everything are already on it. At that point you can't adjust stuff. So I think I'm gonna not listen as I usually do with these and tighten as I go, because stuff usually fits up correct the first time anyways. Yeah, because by this point I'm gonna need to flip it, because this is the ground pad. This is where you stick your feet. Need to flip it on the ground and probably do the rest of that. So I think this is the step where I tighten, and then I'll see from there. Alright, I'm only a little bit ahead here. I just finished step 6, so that's up. Something I noticed though, well, first of all, each thing's listed, you have a certain thing for each step. There's, I think, 2 for the last couple steps, and then 1 for the middle step, 1 for the first couple steps. They only give you exactly the amount of hardware you need, so don't go dropping and losing any of the washers or nuts or anything, because they give you exactly what you need. So far I have an extra one of these. There were 4. I only used 3 so far. I haven't looked through to see if there's more, but other than that, it does not look like there's extras for any of the hardware. I just thought I'd give that little heads up. Alright, next step is done, which was just adding all the weights. By this point I would definitely recommend you move it roughly to its final area, because it is going to be kind of heavy to move. This one's only the 100-pound rack. I saw they had a 200-pound and a 250-pound one of these racks online, so obviously those ones are going to be a little bit harder to move. With this one you can kind of like tip it and slide it around, but easier to just move the weightless rack over before you put the weights on. And then it's just got the center bar, which holds always onto this top one. Then you got your little cable they run it out the back. I don't know if that's something that it matters whether or not you change it. But so far, yeah, this is where we're at. I guess, yeah, with it being in the back, always leave some access so you can get to it. Alright, we are ways ahead again. We are done through step 12. Everything is in place. This is not the first step that it tells you to start tightening stuff. So for 10, 11, 12, it tells you to tighten as you go along. I suppose now I can also talk about tools. This seems to be everything you need. You need either 2 adjustable wrenches, 2 5/8. I just have Husky and Hart, different ones. Adjustable end makes it so much easier. You can use a 5/8 socket on a ratchet, or adjustable wrenches, whatnot. You need two of them because this pin up here is threaded on both ends, and so you need to be able to hold both ends. So you need at least some way of attaching both at the same time. So either two adjustable wrenches, two regular wrenches, two sockets, any combination of them. Up until now, you only need a 6mm for most of it, but towards the end you will need a 5. That is for the seat bolts, and then the two top ones up there, they are a 5, and then you will need a 6 for the other one. So up until this point, only needed 4 total tools. I mean, I've had a good old knife just to cut packages open, cut tape because they are taped kind of annoyingly. But yeah, up to this point everything is tightened down. These are just a through pin, so there's some slot to that one. I would say that's your upper pin. These seats are just they're wood backed, and then there's metal inserts that everything screws into, so do not over tighten those or they could break the seat, as it is just wood back, and then there's foam. I mean, they're nothing crazy, nothing special, just a regular foam backed or foam padded wood back seat. Other than that, it's coming along pretty well. I'd say it's a little floppy, but we still have I want to say, how many steps is left? We have only 4 steps left, so we shall continue on. I'm just on step 13, and I figured this is worth a mention to people. Some of these parts, so like on this bar you can't really see them because they're squished out, and on top of that, as well as this one, they have these little bushings. They're going to be twist tied in. These are basically your bearings. They're just a regular bushing though. Those will keep everything spinning, so they just freely spin in there. They're just anti-friction bushings. Just make sure you don't lose these. They will be twist tied in place so they won't fall out on their own, but obviously you will have to remove them to install them. Alright, so not much further ahead. I started on the pulley, which the instructions are insanely undetailed and unclear about. Like, just look at that mess. Doesn't explain how anything's supposed to go, so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. The biggest thing is these stoppers do not fit through any of these holes, and so this first main one that comes down to the weights, you need to run, this is just a very, very large bolt, threaded rod, whatever you want to call it. That has to come up through there first, then come down here, and then you have just all the slack in the line for all your extra pulleys. I just have the one on, and then it goes all the way into the weights. So just make sure, if you're doing this, to run that cable in first, up through and then back through, and then you have enough slop that this will reach all the way up front to this last pulley slot right there. Alright, first almost set of pulleys I gotta add. There's a hanging one that goes here. I originally showed that I had this screwed all the way in. Just leave a couple threads because you're going to need a lot of slack. There is I didn't put it up before, there is jam nut on there, so it'll jam down later. But yeah, you need that slack to get all these pulleys fed through. On these top ones, it's not going to show up. I wonder if I can see from the other side with the light. Yeah. There is plastic bushings. They are a specific one inside the pack. You can't miss them. They act as the washers for these. I pulled that one out kind of, you can kind of see it. So these top ones do not need them. There's 8 in total, so 1 for each side. There's 2, 4, and then down here, you can't see it because of the lighting there, and then there's more there. They are bushing sized holes. You cannot put them in the wrong spot. They just act as spacers and a place for the pulleys to rub against. But that is so far the first one, and something I messed up the first time. When you are running that bolt, make sure you go above this plate at first, because I had it both going underneath. Yeah, just make sure that that is, as you see, that line needs to be able to move. Just another tip for that one. Alright, pulley set number 2. This one is these, both sides will have this little hook. It just slides over on top of the arm bar. They feed over to that pulley, which feeds down to another one of those drop pulleys. These all get, I say these all, this one get tied into the bottom one, which is the next step. But yeah, this has a pulley on both sides. They both attach to the arm bar. This one you just got to make sure you run the wire through before you attach the pulley, otherwise you got to pull it back apart. Same thing with this one, plus these ones all have, you'll see it in the instructions, they all have these little plastic L brackets. They are just wire guides to make sure they don't get pinched and make sure they keep going. Also to double make sure they stay on the pulley. Those all have a special, you can't see it because it's hidden under the washer and nut and stuff. There's a plastic washer that goes in there. It fits in a slot in the plastic guide. And then just regular washer nut bolt over it. But on to the third and final set of pulleys. Alright, so final pulleys are on. We got everything all the way back, tied up to there, tied up to there, and then finally it's final resting point right there. I still need to go through and tighten all of these up on this step especially. Make sure you wait until you tighten it all up, but otherwise it arm one pulls. I'm sure if I undid that it would work. Awkward angle, the leg one pulls. Yeah, so far it's working. I still have to, I guess I'm not done. I have to put this pull bar on, and then there is one more strap. Oh, and this one as well. But realistically, that's everything. Nothing else needs hardware. It's all the nuts, bolts, everything. Something I didn't pay attention to, this comes with all of the Allen wrenches you will need. Just your generic metal, alright, not metal, but Chinesium ones. If you don't have them, you have those, so you will still need to get yourself wrenches of some kind. Obviously a good pair of Allen wrenches are going to be preferred. But yeah, like I said, the last things I need to do is just put on these couple things and we are good to go. And then, like I said, full part breakdown. If you're smart enough to go off of just that, there you go. But otherwise the step-by-step instructions are complete. And I suppose so is this video. So I will try to leave the tool list down in the description just to make things a little bit easier. Maybe even just some descriptions of the parts, 'cause some of these are weird in their descriptions, like the little plastic bushings on the pulleys, and the same with the ones down there. Just a couple other bits and bobs, and then like this completely adjustable, so that, you know, it's up to you to figure out how you want to do that. I obviously just have it down on the bottom one, but I believe that is it for this video and this machine. It is all good to go. I'm recording this after I finished up that final one, but just to show the bar, that's how that goes on. That's one of the last things that needed to get put on, which, you know, pulls as it's supposed to. Something else that I forgot to mention is these little pads have just a plastic cap that gets pushed in the end. I just grabbed a little rubber mallet and hammered those in. They will hurt your hands otherwise if you just smack them in by hand. And I do believe that that was everything that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the chain is interchangeable between the other accessories. It's just another single hand pull and then a leg pull. Nothing crazy. And so this is the final goodbye of this video.